morning. Another car vlog today, the 2nd of September 2021. I was overjoyed with what happened last night. 40 plus people lock in. I think some sharing one phone or tablet or laptop. There must be close to 50 people who joined the Bible study on Genesis chapter 4. Really interesting chapter about Cain and Abel murdering his own brother, and also Lamech's generation, his two wives, and his oath or poem about Cain being repaid 7 times and him 77 times. So that's marvelous. And Seth as a replacement for Abel, who was killed by his brother. And Seth and his wife gave birth to Enos, and mankind, or the generation of Seth, began to call on the name of the Lord, the name of Yahweh. Really a marvelous chapter to study, and a full 1.5 hours. There were many questions and there was good interaction about offering as usual, whether tithing is biblical, how do we give now so many people were suffering. I think one lady spoke out and said that now she had nothing, I think both her husband and herself lost their jobs. I don't know how they survive, maybe based on their savings. Government handouts don't really help very much. So yes, we give thanks to the Lord for the hunger for His word. And I think most leaders except 2 or 3 deacons couldn't make it, so 15 of them, most elders and deacons also join in, so that is also incredible. Give thanks to God for that. So I'm resting 1 week. Basically it's 2 consecutive weeks, and then we rest for 1 week, and then two weeks in a row. We're into chapter 5. Most likely I'll probably do at least chapter 5 and the first half of chapter 6 in a fortnight's time. And really pastoring during the pandemic is a challenge, because most of your members you don't see face to face. So I appreciate at least the song leaders and those in the multimedia team. They are faithful, and just a few of us on a Sunday. We thank God for their ministry. At least there's some face-to-face contact. But even on Sunday I preach looking at the camera, so that's quite challenging. But I thank God, I guess you adapt to things. And I think last week's preaching, in fact 2 weeks in a row, I was pretty pleased how it went. Not every sermon worked out the way I thought it should, because sometimes you're just looking at the camera and it's quite awkward. I'm not a photogenic person or I much prefer a crowd, and I get energy, from the congregation. But the big issue is still reopening of the churches, which I expect to come perhaps sometime in October. We have decided to wait just for a couple more weeks, so until September, see whether the cases will go down below the 1,000 cases mark. In fact, 1,000 cases are still a lot. But then for the double vaccinated, if they choose to conduct their service, I won't object to it. So they can go ahead, because it's important for those that want to meet together. Even double dose, there's some risk, especially sitting in a confined space with air conditioned for 1.5 hours. But those that come, they know the risk, and we trust the Lord for His protection. So I think by the third week or the last week of September, we'll make a decision on the reopening of the churches. But what I want to really talk about is the anxiety for your church members. I think in Paul says that daily he bears the burden of being anxious. Basically the welfare, the spiritual welfare. I told my church members during the first lockdown, if we close more than 2 months or 3 months, we may lose half our members. And truly enough, when we reopen, we even offer 2 services. For 2 months, we have evening services, but there was hardly any response, because we thought that the first service we cannot fit. Even the first service, in the beginning we have 60 or 70 people, and very few people turn out, a handful for the evening service. But then really the latest, before the current lockdown in May, I preached 3 consecutive weeks in May, and in fact the cases were beginning to rise. We're expecting a lockdown anytime during May, and we had packed services every week that I preached, more than 100 people. We had to turn away. We had to turn away. We have to turn away church members. We were getting like 110, 115. In fact, there was one Sunday, it's like 110. 10 people had to sit. 10 people have to sit in the church hall. They cannot enter the main sanctuary. So, and when we were beginning to pick up steam, then it closed down or locked down again. So it's a real challenge as a pastor. I was just beginning to meet my church members, 110 of them, face to face during May. And suddenly now it's more than 3 months since we locked down. I think the last Sunday was 30th of May. And it will take at least another month. So it will be 4 months plus that we can reopen. Even that will be very risky. I don't expect the cases to go down below 1,000, even in a month's time. It probably hover around 2,000 new cases every day. Yesterday was like 2,400 cases from the high of 3,300 cases. So it's a real challenge, but the comforting, or what brings comfort, is really the Bible study. Only a few show their faces through Google Meet, but at least you can see their names or acronyms. Some of them have their nicknames and so on, So yesterday was really encouraging, because more than 40, I think 41 people I saw the number log in, and some families share just one account, so there must be close to 50 people, and 3 or 4 people came from, in fact there are representatives from 3 other churches came from outside of our Indah Permai congregation. So we praise God for that. So this is what is happening in the last few days, and may God bless you. Thanks for listening.